we're back to the, what are we working on? Roof hatch in the emergency exit. Today, we answer the age-old question, can you install a Maxx Air Fan in your bus's emergency exit hatch? And then we answer another age-old question, why would you even want to? I really didn't find a lot of information out there on this. The only YouTube video I found was Stu the Bus. So I thought maybe I'll just record myself doing this, and if it goes well, it'll be another resource for people. And also, I wonder why people don't do this more, because it seems like a good solution to be able to get to the top of your bus as well. Roof access. I drew out a stencil, so now I need to actually get started. We started out by tracing a template around the area that we wanted to cut using the plastic roof vent trim that came with the Maxx Air Fan. I started with the bottom of the roof vent because, as you can see, there's only a specific spot that this can really fit on the bottom versus the top of it has a lot more space. So we are starting with the bottom, and it kind of sits perfectly in this. So fingers crossed that it actually works. We'll see. We used an oscillating multi-tool to cut out the template, which is a great tool for this project because it cuts irregular shapes easily. This isn't a tool that every beginner would have in their toolbox. We were lucky to be able to rent this tool for free using Portland's tool library rental system. We would highly recommend looking for budget-friendly community resources for tools such as a tool library, maker spaces, or even Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for used tools. Many neighborhoods also have Facebook groups like Buy Nothing, Sell Nothing, where you can get lucky and find tools people are giving away. Oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
All right.
Let's see. Ooh. The initial cut was pretty snug, so we trimmed around the edges until we were able to get the insert to fit. Using the first cutout as a guide, we drilled holes in the four corners to help us determine where to trace the vent trim at the top of the exit hatch. This wasn't the most accurate method for placement, but it did work for us. Alright, we're now working on cutting out the top portion. You need to make two cuts because it's, different pieces of plastic. So in order for us to get it more or less centered and in line with this square, we traced out the middle to know where to cut. Now having to trim around the top part just to make sure it fits better.
Yeah. We gotta make sure it fits at all, because right now it doesn't really fit.
It doesn't quite yet fit, but we'll make it fit. After trimming the edges with the very handy oscillating multi-tool and lots of test fittings, we got the top and bottom vent trim pieces to fit into the cutouts. To provide structural support, we reinforced the exit hatch with 2x4s. These were also the anchor points for the screws that secured the fan into place.
Got half of the wood in. That'll give us a little bit of clamping force. Actually keep our roof in place. So it goes sort of like that. So these screws will go into the actual 2x4.
The 2x4s didn't fit quite perfectly, so we did have to trim them down to size.
So this piece of wood is a little bit tall. Doesn't really fit in there. So what we're gonna do is cut a little bit off the top, all the way across, so that it fits in the hatch. Should be good. Let's go ahead and get that knocked off. Alright, so we got the wood cut. The important question. So there's our piece, final piece. Mostly straight, a little bit smaller than a 2x4. Notched corner in the back. Now, is it going to fit? I'm going to slide one end in, push it up a little bit, get it over the lip of the bottom part, give it a bit of a push. There we go. So now when we screw into something, it'll actually bite. Go ahead and do a rough fit. Alright, so this just pops in. We're going to do like a 3M sealant VHB tape on the back. This side I cut down a bit more. You can see it fits pretty flush when you push it down on the lid. Like it goes almost all the way around. Perfectly flush. This side, I did not really cut down much, so it's like I can get it to go flat. So you push one side down, and the other side moves up. This is one of those times where trimming the wood a bit will save a ton of headache as far as leaks.
We trimmed the 2x4s further until we got the top trim piece flush against the exit hatch to minimize the risk for water leaks.
This is what finished product will look like. We'll be sitting flush up on the roof. Actually, if you're doing this kind of conversion and you want the emergency exit part to be on the back so that you can release this side, the whole thing will hinge up and you can still have access to the roof. So this will be the bottom. We'll have the vent flush. We'll do one of those pockets. Will be wham bam, thank you ma'am. Connect the wires up. Pretty much dunsky. Well, getting ahead of myself. On ours, we had to cut the handle out. Found the way for it to fit. Unfortunately, that means that there is a channel that can collect water and then pull it straight through our vent. So we ordered some tape that'll go over all of this. This is the current state. So this is a roof seal tape. We've got a couple layers coming over the what used to be a little sort of divot. So now that's all sealed up. Won't get any rain in there. We've got some 3M VHB tape under the edges. That's used to secure the hatch. We're not really doing screws in the back, so this is all going to be just pressure fit for the most part. We've got the 2x4s in the sides. So those 2x4s are what are going to secure the fan for the most part. Put the shroud on the bottom, put the fan on the top, cover all of the edges in roof tape. We gotta put some caulking. Got a little bit of a gap. So we're gonna fill that with some caulking, then we're gonna clamp it down and cover it with roof tape, then we'll be done.
We used a roof seal tape to close up the large gap where the latch used to sit, and then we added 3M tape around the edge of the trim to further secure it into place before adding the screws. Before installing the fan, we cut the bottom trim piece down to size and added a lap sealant around the seams of the top trim piece to prevent leaks. Look at it! We got our Max fan in the emergency hatch. So was installing the Max fan in the emergency exit hatch worth it? I think yes, because it will allow us to get onto our roof from inside the bus, which will give us easy access to our solar panels. We do have a tiny leak when we get heavy rainstorms, but in all honesty, we ran out of lap sealant and haven't actually finished sealing every seam at the top of the hatch yet, which is on our to-do list to fix, but it hasn't been an issue through the build. We also had a bigger leak that came from the not so great seal around the hatch itself, so we scraped off the caulk and resealed the hatch's base. Many people remove the hatch altogether and cover that area with sheet metal or something sturdy and watertight because they are prone to leaks. You're gonna cut it?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Probably started.
Yeah, okay. Well, if you cut the whole thing, I wouldn't be upset. I'm going sideways.
Let me do it. You're getting it a little too hot.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I want it to be more of a cut, less of a melt.